and said, Eamonn, what would you like us to make? And I said to you, what about Irish stew? But it's not a sexy dish, it's not a glamorous dish, but it's quite tickled you thinking about it.
Well, because I think delicious prevails.
Yeah.
And I think food from home and when you're a kid is the thing that makes you feel good. And if you're feeling a bit down one day, actually going home and eating something that you loved as a kid makes you feel really warm inside.
Whenever I go and see my mum and she says, oh, you know, what do you want to eat? I always say shepherd's pie. My mum's shepherd's pie. Like, you would never be able to cook a shepherd's pie like my mum.
Well, I know that I'm not going to be able to cook the stew like your mum, Eamonn.
Well, so can you just apologise to Josie now? Get John a camera. What camera is John on here? Because he has to make this apology before we
I'm
start.
sorry, Josie, I really am. It's not going to be like yours. However, I'll do all the things I possibly can to make it delicious.
Good.
Right.
Good.
So what we're going to do, Irish stew that you have as a child had beef in it, not lamb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a basic stew, which everybody at home can make very, very easily. And it starts with a plastic bag and diced stewing steak. What you need to do when you make a stew is to thicken it. And what you do is a little bit of flour first, and the reason I use a plastic bag so I don't make a mess, is flour on the outside of the beef, salt and pepper, so you season it straight away. And the magic bag is just there, so that what happens is you coat all the beef with the flour and you don't make a mess. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
So that's the first bit. And then in a pan, a couple of onions, a little bit of oil, and then literally you just put your beef cubes in and you colour it. Because if you don't colour it, your stew is not going to have any colour. If it doesn't have any colour, it's not going to be flavour. So that's the important bit. So that's it. Eamonn, we won't take much time with cooking because there's plenty of eating to be done.
Indeed.
So you're just browning that?
So you brown that first, and you brown it quite well, and you give it a decent amount of colour. Stir it around.
It looks like that?
Yeah, stir around a couple of times, and what it ends up with is like this. So you get that lovely colour around the outside. That just goes... I'm going to put all that together, so it's done. And you cover it with a litre of stock.
So what's that, just beef stock?
Stock cube, anything like... As far as I know, Josie used to use an OXO cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So that's just an OXO cube, and that's whatever it might be. And then all you do is you leave it. You don't touch it. Let it go and let it cook away, and let that cook for about 2 hours.
So what do you do, bring it up to... and then down to a simmer? Or
Yeah, down to a simmer, or put it into a hot oven with a lid on it. That's it. Now, the next bit, the most important bit, of course, Eamonn, the potatoes.
Yes, yes.
After 2 hours, the potatoes go in.
Why don't you put them in from the beginning?
Because that's got to cook for 2 hours first, then another hour with the potatoes. The potatoes will turn to complete mash if you did.
OK.
So, potatoes...
That's the way she likes them, the potatoes mashed up. She would take the ladle and mash the potato within the stew.
I might have a little gift for you in a moment, Eamonn. So, this goes in, the potatoes go in, and this is the second lot of thickening. So the first lot of thickening is your flour. Your second lot of thickening is the potatoes. The starch in the potatoes start to thicken your stew. So it starts to cook down. The meat now starts to fall apart, and we end up with a stew that's it, and that goes like that. Now, what you can do once you've done a stew like this is you can add bits of bacon and mushrooms and onions and red wine if you want to make it posh, OK? Or you could do what my Auntie Mary used to do, and that was just to take a little bit of pastry and chuck some pastry on top of it, and you got yourself a pie.
Made it a pie, yeah.
So you make yourself a pie. Because what you're trying to do, really, is feed a family. And I always have this in bags in my freezer. I make a big batch of it, the same 2 kilos of meat, big batch, put it in bags in the freezer, and you can do whatever you like with it. Put it with pasta, put it with rice, put it with bread, have it hot, have it cold. But here's the present for you, Eamonn, because I know, and I've learnt, for a little bit of research, that Josie had the potatoes always separate to one side. Is that right?
He wouldn't know. He wasn't in the kitchen. He wasn't in the kitchen.
It's nothing like what you used to have?
You don't know my mother. If I agree with something she hasn't done, believe me, life won't be worth living.
So, and you mashed those, did you? Is that right?
Yeah, she would have... we wouldn't have had the potatoes whole like that. They would have been mashed up within all of that, so it would be a much... I know this might be disgusting you, but basically...
No, it doesn't. I think this is really, really good.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I believe that you have it with bread.
We have it with bread, and also, my friend...
So nice
magic ingredient.
This is Josie's magic ingredient. And, John, what do you think of this curry powder
across the top.
And yeah, you wouldn't put it in. You would put it in your individual dish.
Well,
yes.
then take some and put some on a plate.
Yeah.
Let's serve you up a plateful because I think it's important we have childhood memories here on this morning.
Well, that's why we did this, because you were doing the crumble, which almost brought tears to your eyes of your childhood memories.
I love this sort of food because actually, look, and then I've done your carrots, but I know that I started off doing long battens.
Well, why wouldn't you put carrots in it?
Why didn't I?
Yeah.
Because I was like...
I
know. Look, but you've got curry powder, you've got brown sauce, you've got red sauce, you've got sliced carrots.
But you would have had onions in this and carrots.
There are onions.
There for you, look at that.
Bread,
there you go. Some
and a
proper
bit of
bread like that.
Maybe a bit of HP sauce, a bit of brown sauce in it there as well.
I'm going to have a bit of curry powder.
And then, as I say, if you want a pie, you get yourself a pie and you sort of just take the crust off and...
Yeah. We're just getting, by satellite link, we're getting Mum's reaction to John's stew. There it is there. There it is. That's what Josie thinks of your stew.
But what the thing about it is, because it just cooks nice and slow, and you're going to eat it any way you want, a bit of bread, some rice.
It's really nice, mate.
I love this curry thing. I think that's
Curry's really nice.
Curry powder across the top. But and a pie.
So you all sprinkled your own curry powder,
yeah.
so you can have as little or as much as you like, or none.
Yeah.
But what is it that, I mean, is so very different to that from...
Well, she would have done it in a big pot, and it would have been much... you've got a lot... What's this called, this gravy
Stewing
stuff?
steaks.
Gravy?
No, the gravy. It would have been much more like a thick soup rather than...
Right.
There, but that's all. It would have been boiled in a big pot, the minced steak instead of the steak, mince in it as well. But
Basically,
there you go.
it's nothing like Josie's stew.
Is it nothing like Josie's stew?
No, but it's lovely. I tell you, it really is lovely. And, Mum, it's only a homage to you, OK? It's only a homage, and he knows his stuff, so he's paying tribute to what you do.
But I also want everybody out there to remember these very, very simple, very good for you, hearty winter dishes which will feed a family.
Yeah.
And it's stewing steak, it's potatoes, it's 2 hours on the stove, add your spuds.
It's delicious.
And when you're done.
Well, John,
delicious.
at lunchtime tomorrow, I'll be in my mum's house having that stew. And thank you very much indeed. Very good effort, John, but compared to Josie's stew, all right.
Yeah.
It's not like yours, Mum. It's not like yours.
Definitely not like yours, Mrs. Holmes. Lots
John,
of love
very
to
nice,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Nice,
Holmes.
though, but it's nice, though.
I got pat in the back. Thanks very much, Ruth.
But you know, funny, my Twitter's going wild today about Irish variations because, you know, Ireland, everybody in different counties and wherever will do it different ways. So it's really good getting those takes on things.
I do mine with lamb, and I put leeks in mine. So is that Irish stew? I don't know. Lamb, leeks, carrots and potato.
Welsh Irish stew.
Welsh Irish stew.
There we are.
Stew. It's nice.